we need to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I have been following Gypsy's story for years now, especially since she was released from prison. And there's several times I wanted to make videos, but I didn't know if people wanted to hear about it because it seems like some people are here for it and the other half of people just want to see her go away. No matter how you feel about Gypsy Rose, it's obvious she isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And I was so shocked when I heard the most recent news regarding Gypsy and her husband Ryan. So as we all know, Gypsy left her husband a few weeks ago and she met Ryan while she was in prison. And within days of leaving Ryan, she was spotted with her ex-boyfriend Ken. And Ryan ended up speaking out on Instagram, and he said that he was blindsided by her leaving him. He said he had no idea that Gypsy still had such strong feelings for her ex Ken. So Gypsy and Ryan ended up getting married about a year ago while she was in prison, and the couple only spent 3 months together in the free world before she made a run for it. Earlier this week, Gypsy finally filed for divorce from Ryan, and she also requested a temporary restraining order from Ryan, claiming that she is scared of him. And that's not all. She's also requesting spousal support. And not just spousal support, she wants long-term spousal support. Gypsy hasn't made any claims that Ryan has ever put hands on her, but she did say they would get into arguments because they would fight. And Gypsy, when she gets upset, she claims she likes to have time to herself so she can think about things and so she can calm down. And she said that Ryan is the exact opposite. Whenever he has a problem, he wants to sit down, talk about things right then and there and get them fixed. And because they're completely opposite when it comes to solving problems, they butt heads, and a lot of times it just makes the situation worse. Gypsy shared an example where allegedly one time her and Ryan got into a fight. She went and locked herself in Ryan's bathroom, and Ryan was pounding on the door telling her to get out, and she got scared. She ended up calling a family member who came and picked her up. She filed for a temporary restraining order, and according to court documents obtained by People, Gypsy is asking for spousal support. So she is claiming that she is in need of support, and the defendant, aka Ryan, has the ability to pay. And she also explains that she is not at fault for the dissolution of the marriage. And she also requested for the court to deny spousal support to Ryan in the court filing. Gypsy filed a restraining order just 2 weeks after it came out that her and Ryan had split up, and Gypsy had announced on her Facebook page that she had moved in with her parents home down by the bayou. And this is the part that gets me. She wants spousal support after only being with him for 3 months in the free world. Apparently, there was no prenup, which was a big mistake, and I think Ryan is going to end up having to pay for that. According to what I looked up, it said if you don't have a prenup in the state of Louisiana, the court will divide all the community assets and liabilities and assign them to each spouse so that each spouse receives property of an equal net value. I was also curious, like, how long does someone have to be married to qualify for spousal support? And what I found is it says state laws regarding alimony vary. So the answer may depend on the state where the divorce is taking place. But in most states, no minimum length of a marriage is required to be eligible for alimony. But typically, the longer the marriage, the more likely it is that the alimony will be awarded. I was curious, how long would one have to pay spousal support if they were ordered to pay that? And what I found is how long one ex-spouse must help support the other is as much in the judge's discretion as in the amount of support. Some judges start with the assumption that support should last half as long as the marriage did and then work up or down from there by looking at certain factors. So if they're saying that it needs to last at least as half the marriage, then that means that he will have to pay for at least 6 months. And it could even be more than that if she is granted spousal support. Like I said, it just shocks me she wants spousal support after they're only together for 3 months in the free world. And this man is a special education teacher. So it's not like he makes a lot. He probably makes just enough to pay his bills. So he only probably makes barely enough to survive. It would be one thing if he was a millionaire or billionaire and it wasn't really going to make a difference if she went for spousal support, but this man is probably already struggling to get by. She's probably trying to get every dime of that Lifetime documentary money and probably feels like, oh, I gave you this platform and now you owe it to me. But if he can prove that she has been unfaithful, then that may change her being able to get alimony. Every judge and state is different, but in a lot of states that can make a difference. And I feel like she was talking to Ken before she left Ryan. I just feel like it. I don't have any proof. That's just my personal opinion. I don't doubt that Ryan was somewhat controlling, like sources are claiming. Apparently, one of the big fights that made them end up breaking up or splitting up is he would not allow her to go see her sister. And he was allegedly jealous of her relationship with her father. But I just feel like there's got to be more to the story. Ryan claims he was blindsided, but I feel like he kind of saw it coming. I mean, when they were supposed to get married during their Lifetime series, she ends up calling him like the night before they're supposed to get married and told him that she had a dream that she was with Ken or she left Ryan for Ken. And she's like, I don't know how I feel. And she was getting mixed feelings last minute. And she had lied to Ryan and claimed that she hadn't talked to Ken at all. But then when Ryan asked her during this phone call, she ended up admitting, yeah, I've talked to Ken recently. And Ryan was concerned about Ken back then. And then she came out and said in an interview that day one of her being out of prison, her ex Ken was reaching out to her stepmom, sniffing around, trying to ask how he can get a hold of Gypsy. And I think once Gypsy found out that Ken was trying to get in touch with her, I think that made her start thinking about what could have been with Ken. And just the fact that as soon as she breaks up with Ryan, within days, her and Ken were getting matching tattoos. And they were trying to claim in this live on TikTok that they haven't had no physical intimacy. But literally they're spotted multiple times holding hands, all cuddled up together, just looking like a couple. Then the fact that Ken had allegedly broke up with his girlfriend right before Gypsy ended up breaking up with Ryan, it just all looks very suspicious. But we're going to figure out a lot more in this next upcoming series. Lifetime is going to do like a Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, and I'm going to be looking forward to that and covering that because I'm definitely curious to figure out more details on what happened that caused this marriage to fall apart. I just feel like she rushed things with Ryan. I think Gypsy has just wanted freedom for so long. She never got to experience that while she was in prison or while she was with her mom. Like, the girl legit said she felt like at first, like, prison was fun because it was the most freedom she's ever had, even though that's technically, for most people, the least freedom they normally have. And I feel like she thought she was going to be able to go out, do whatever she wanted, and really get to experience life. But things were different because Ryan, he was scared she was going to run off with other people. I think Ryan has some insecurity issues deep down and trust issues when it comes to Gypsy because she's lied to him about talking to Ken in the past. So she wasn't allowed to go out and experience life as much as she wanted to unless Ryan was right by her side. And even if you're married, you still have to have time to yourself to get to know yourself and know what you like and experience life. While Gypsy was with Ryan, besides when she was with her family, we really didn't get to see her have any moments by herself. It seems like anytime she was doing an interview or any kind of PR or publicity, she always had Ryan by her side. Hell, for a moment when she first got out, she couldn't even do a TikTok without him popping his head in and having to say something and make sure it was known that he was there with her too. So I think she just got sick and tired of that. I am curious if she does end up getting with Ken, how he's going to be able to handle things this time. It does seem like he's handling things better than he did the first time he was with Gypsy, because while they were dating while she was in prison, she claims he ended up leaving her because he could not deal with the backlash and publicity that came along with being with a girl who was responsible for the death of her mother. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Check out my lashes and cosmetics at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.